Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to my first movie review in a while. I know it's been a minute. I do apologize. As I've stated many times before, I'm very, very deep into my last semester of graduate school, so the fact that I'm giving this much time to YouTube maybe isn't the best idea. But I definitely wanted to bring you guys my review of John Wick Chapter 4, once again directed by Chad Stahelski, starring, of course, Keanu Reeves, and this time Donnie Yen, Bill Skarsgård, Hiroyuki Sanada, Shamir Anderson, Rina Samayama, Scott Adkins, and of course returning as always Laurence Fishburne, Ian McShane, and of course Lance Reddick. Rest in peace. Oh my goodness, so sad that he passed away right before this film came out. But we'll get into that a little bit. But look, this has been touted as the final entry in the John Wick franchise, maybe? But regardless, this was very, very anticipated for many reasons, especially because Keanu himself said that this was his last one. Of course, I mean, the man's pushing 60. You can't really blame him. He literally does all these crazy stunts. He throws himself downstairs. He jumps out of windows. And the fact he's still able to do it at his age is incredible. He's almost on the level of Tom Cruise. But, yeah, and just an amazing, amazing human being. One of the best in the world. And I want to preface that before we get into this review, okay? But look, I really enjoyed this franchise right from the first one. I think all of these movies have been really, really solid all across the board. The stunt work is just absolutely incredible and should be commended. And, you know, the third one I really liked. I really enjoyed it, but I felt it was a bit of a step back. You know, some of the narrative decisions I didn't really agree with. And this one, I think, brings the whole story of the last full circle. And really, this is maybe the most impressive John Wick from a stunt action and stunt choreography standpoint. My goodness, when this film starts, I was like, this is probably my favorite John Wick movie. Now, I don't feel that now, having seen the whole film, but at the beginning, I was like, this is absolutely incredible. Doing some really interesting things, especially with the plot, which, let's be honest, these movies, ever since after the second one or the first, they weren't really about the plot or the story. It was just about, you know, John Wick doing some awesome kills and showing off some really awesome stunts from Stahelski and team, but it wasn't really anything you can sink your teeth into, and I do feel that about this one as well, especially. They try to get in a couple things, especially with Donnie Yen's character, but it never really was fully realized in a way that I felt like the emotion was fully earned. But my goodness, there are some really great points made by these characters in this film. And you get to see the consequence of John Wick's action. Because, I mean, he's going around killing all these people. There has to be some consequences for somebody. And I think they show that in such a very, very realistic and hard-hitting way. And my goodness, as I said, the cast in here, for the most part, is really incredible. I really like what they did with Bill Skarsgård as the villain in this. He definitely brings a very, very interesting element to it. Even if he is a bit one-note, I think he makes the performance very, very interesting. But to me, the true standouts were Donnie Yen as Kane. Oh my goodness. Why do we always make Donnie Yen a blind man? I don't know. But this man is an incredible action movie star. There was one stunt he was doing that looked like it was straight out of a cartoon, which, you know, this movie kind of is, but it was actually done in camera. I don't think it was sped up at all. That just shows you how insane of a martial artist this guy is. But just the creative ways they use his character to set up these action set pieces, I think, is incredible. And of course, you know, Donnie Yen is going to deliver the goods. I think probably the best performance in this movie as well. And another great addition to the cast was Shamir Anderson as Nobody. He really was one of the standouts in this film. I really haven't seen him in too much, but I'm excited to see what he does next, because what they do with his character and his dog, which is, oh my goodness, probably like the cutest thing you'll ever see on screen, and then in a split second it can be like pulling someone's nuts off. So just amazing that tag team duo that they have featured in here. And Scott Adkins is completely unrecognizable in the one scene that he's in, which is absolutely amazing. And of course you have the series staples like Ian McShane, who's awesome. And I cannot believe he's like 80 years old. He looks like he's pushing 70. Incredible what he does in this movie. And of course, the late, great Lance Reddick. It's kind of crazy just like what they do with his character in this movie. It really, it adds, there's a certain, you know, kind of undertone to it after his passing, which really adds a lot of weight. I can't help but to say I did tear up at this movie with the scenes with Lance Reddick. It really was a bit of an emotional gut punch. And my goodness, he was always such a very, very consistent and grounding force in these movies. Just probably one of the few characters in the movie that just exudes goodness, and really glad to see him one last time in this franchise. Laurence Fishburne is really good in the scenes he's in. Some could say he's overacting, but I think he delivers his lines with such a knowingness. And yeah, he's awesome, of course. And I have to talk about Hiroyuki Sanada, too. When he showed up, my goodness, he was definitely giving a very, very great performance. And obviously does great with the action sequences as well. So it was really nice to see him in this movie. But we got to talk about Keanu Reeves. And look, I don't want to dog on this man. I love him so much. He's one of the greatest human beings on the face of the earth, if not the best. But he's terrible in this movie. Besides the action, you know, like every line that comes out of his mouth, like we were just laughing out loud in the theaters. And I saw this in Times Square. So there were a lot of people in the theater, right? And we were just laughing every time he opened his mouth. I don't know what happened. I don't remember him struggling this much with the delivery in the other movies, but here it was just hysterical. I couldn't stop laughing every time he opened his mouth. But look, I absolutely love the man, so I'm not going to disparage him any. He's done such an incredible job with this franchise, and look, he only says like I don't know, a couple hundred words in this movie. And this is a 2 hour and 45 minute runtime. And I'll be honest, this did not need to be that long. I don't think there's enough meat and potatoes in the story to really justify that long of a running time. Though the action sequences are the best in the entire John Wick franchise. Especially there's this one bird's eye view shot that's a track. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. But it might be the best action sequence in any John Wick movie, hands down. It's absolutely incredible what they do with the camera work, what they do with everything. But there's a few of those scenes just feel a bit elongated. Like, okay, I get you're showing off all these cool stunts, but we could wrap this up. It's getting a little bit repetitive. And as I said, the story isn't much there to really kind of latch onto. But I do think they make some very, very bold narrative choices, which will affect this franchise going forward. And I will talk about that. I will probably get into spoilers at the end, so I'll give you my score and then kind of talk about what I think the future of the franchise will be. Another thing, too, I do have to mention is another reason why I don't fully love this movie, besides some of the acting and just some of the kind of like elongated scenes. Some of the stuff they do, they completely defy all logic, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. There's some stuff that happens to John Wick in this movie. Like, okay, he should be dead, and he just is indestructible at a certain point in this, and I'm just like, okay, this is a bit ridiculous, and a lot of people were laughing at that as well. As great as the stunt work is, it just feels a little bit, it feels like a cartoon at this point, which is fine in some ways, but I don't know, like, some of the stuff just kind of, you know, teetered on that line of unbelievability, and I could not buy into it myself. But look, this is a damn good action movie. Where would I rank this amongst the John Wick movies? It's probably my third favorite, but that's not saying much, because 1 and 2 are basically tied, and this is right there. It's a really, really damn good action movie. They really should make an Oscar stunt category, because movies like this really prove how important stunt work and stunt coordination is in general, and I really think that these artists should be recognized for their achievements. But regardless, I'm going to give John Wick Chapter 4 an 8 out of 10. Really, really enjoyed this movie, and I think you guys will too if you're a fan of the series. If not, you're probably not going to care. But the action, it's just so amazing, the spectacle they come up with in this movie. So yeah, guys, definitely check it out. I'd love to hear what you think. And I am going to get into spoilers a little bit here, because they decided to kill John Wick. And that's why I am like, that to me was really the boldest decision in the entire movie, because obviously Keanu Reeves said he was done. So it's like, okay, this makes sense. And then there's a post-credit scene where Donnie Yen, his whole story in the movie is trying to protect his daughter, because the High Table is going to kill her if he doesn't help them on their mission to kill John Wick, and obviously it gets resolved by the end. And then Rino Samayama's character, who, you know, is the daughter of Hiroyuki Sanada's character in this film, is about to approach him as he approaches his daughter at the end of the movie. So it seems like they're trying to set up a spin-off with Kane, and look, I'm all for it. I'm all for watching Donnie Yen kick some absolute ass. But they keep saying there's a John Wick Chapter 5. Why? I mean, is it the spin-off? Because maybe they're trying to throw people off the scent of what actually happened after the events of this film. But literally, let dead dogs lie. I don't understand why we should make another one of these unless it's a spin-off with Kane or some other character. Because they killed John Wick. How can they bring him back? Maybe it's a prequel, okay, but I don't really think that's necessary, and I don't think, well, I can't speak for Keanu Reeves, obviously, but I don't really know if he wants to do another one at this point in his life. So, I don't know. I would love to see a spin-off in Kane, but basically, I don't know how the hell they're going to make John Wick Chapter 5, and I don't think they should. But I'm all for spin-offs with these other characters. So yeah, what did you guys think of John Wick Chapter 4? As I said, I'd love to hear what you think. And smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So many great videos coming down the pipeline, so stay tuned. And of course, the Top 100 Greatest Films of All Time series. I know you guys have been really into that, and I'm really glad that you are enjoying my hard work. I really make sure those videos are perfect for you guys, so I really appreciate the support. And yeah, until the next video, guys, I will see you later. Take it easy now.